Well, hello, everybody. Welcome on into the Hello LLC. If you don't know, Hello stands for helping entrepreneurs leverage leading edge optimizations, but most importantly, it's helping everyone live life optimally. We are a Web3 agency that helps rebuild your foundation, implement AI, upgrade your systems, pivot from 2D to 3D, and we are here to help you. The future is already here, ladies and gentlemen, and today we are here with our special guest, Mr. Casey Salgi. If you don't know, Casey is a servant leader whose mission is to influence 200,000 lives through systems, processes, and leading individuals and corporations towards positive action. He is a veteran entrepreneur with 20 plus years of extensive experience in crafting building blocks for success. Casey believes in impacting lives of people through training, guidance, and servant leadership. And if you didn't know, Casey Salgi is our mentor and who started all of this and is why we are here today. And it is good to have you, my friend. So, hello.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely,
Good
brother.
to have you.
And more than just our mentor, we share with you guys all the time about love, kindness, and integrity, and mindset, and frequency, and energy. And he would have to be this one that took us on this guided path and really has led us, down this path, especially us meeting him when we were at our worst of the worst. And we went through this training course and we met him and we jumped into this thing called network marketing that everybody's scared of and afraid of. And, it was just an abundance of joy. And Casey Salgi is the person that pivoted our lives completely. I know for myself, I probably wouldn't be alive with the things that he was able to introduce to us. I know for a fact I wouldn't be in business with my significant other. And I know more importantly that we wouldn't have the mindset that we have now. And so, Casey, brother, out loud to the world, as you would share with us all, say yes, tell the world, and go do it.
Figure it out.
And that is exactly what you have shared with us and got us to this point. And we are more than honored and privileged to have you on our Hello Pivot Live. So, brother, what are some of the most misconceptions that people have about entrepreneurship?
Wow. Well, first, thank you for one hell of an introduction. That's pretty damn cool. It's always fun to see when you do get to impact somebody and then they talk about it. It's like, whoo, keep your shit together. Don't start crying in the first 30 seconds of this thing. Come on now. But very awesome. And I really appreciate y'all having me. Question on what again about entrepreneurship? Say again.
What are some of the misconceptions? What are some of the myths that people think about entrepreneurship that you want to debunk?
Well, the first one is I'm just going to get this thing started, and everybody is going to show up and buy whatever it is that I'm offering, a product or a service, and I'm going to make $1 million probably in the first 6 days, and I'm going to break every record that was known to mankind. And you hear every single one of those. I had the same thought. I'm going to get this thing started. I'm going to set up a website, and I'm just going to hit everybody and get at the top of Google, and everybody's going to, buy my thing that I'm offering, and what could possibly go wrong? And yeah, it's definitely a uninformed optimism that happens right up front. Everybody's excited, just can't wait to get going, and then little do they know what's lurking on just the other side of saying yes. And it's an instantaneous cliff that they're going to just fall off of, and hopefully they put the parachute together before they go splat like Wile E. Coyote at the bottom of a ravine.
That is way too true.
So,
It's
and I got a story behind that too. When we first started with Casey in our business, which was our Hello Wellness, that was with the network marketing company. I said, Casey, I know this guy. He's gonna change the world, and we're gonna just all just blow up, and it's gonna be over. I said, it's done. Just go ahead, just mark it done. And boy, my bubble got busted quick. Especially, when I bring this to them, everybody doesn't have the same mindset. So you're spot on with that.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. That's the biggest one. Is I think about it like walking through a desert in a field of cactuses with a balloon. I mean, it's just it's not a matter of how it is going to happen. It's how many steps are they going to take before. And it's funny, whenever one of my favorite phrases that you guys love so much is "Isn't that cute and adorable?" And they get all started. They're this, doughy-eyed, cute little fella, that just little bunny rabbit walking through the forest. Everything's gonna be fine, and then the bear comes out, just tears them to pieces, and the wolves eat the carcass. And yeah, it's brutal what can happen out there. But it takes a special mindset, a special personality, and the biggest thing is just one hellacious desire. That's the only thing that keeps people going. Most people come in and we always talk about it, they got that lottery ticket mentality that, they got, 5 scratch offs and, oh, I'm going to talk to this person, this person, this person, this person, and these 5, it's done. Like you said, just hang it up. We'll talk to this guy. You're done. You'll never have to work another day. And whenever I hear that, I'm like, ah, shit. All right. Yeah. But I give them a week. We'll see if they make it. If they make it past the first week, we might have something, because again, that balloon's going to get popped. Someone's going to say no. They're going to say boo. And it's crazy how many people can get into something and then get out of something so fast because of someone else's opinion. And that's another one of the biggest things that I see is that if you're going to operate, it doesn't even go for business, it just goes for life. If you're going to operate based on what other people think of you, you're screwed. You're just absolutely screwed. You have got to carve out a path. You've got to pick a destination that you're going to. And then it's not a matter of, I hope I make it. It has got to be, I'm going to make it. And if you don't have that mindset, your days are limited.
Well, that's intriguing that you talk about mindset because that's exactly what, we're pivoting into, and talking about this. But when you said that, when you were sharing all of that you were sharing, it was, I love seeing the mouth work, but what are the feet doing? And it's always like, watch the footwork. And
Yeah.
David and I, to this day, for any and all that are watching right now and have been a part of our rooms, when you ever hear us talk about, let's watch the footwork, let's watch your feet work, let's take action, it's down to that fact of talk is cheap. And it really comes down to, as you said, that burning desire and showing up for yourself on days that you don't want to. And you talked about mindset, and I really want you to answer, how important is mindset in running a business, and what, you already kind of started talking about the burning desire that keeps people focused, but what else is in that formula?
Yeah. For me, and I always like saying, don't tell me, just show me. Right? Show me, don't tell me. Yeah, just go do it. That's all well and good. Just go do it. Right? So true. But yeah, after desire, then you can have one heck of a motivation to want to do something. But if that's all you've got, now you've got a motivated idiot, right? So whoop-de-doo. You got to have, hopefully somebody that's motivated and informed. And the informed part is where mindset comes in my opinion. First, you got to be excited because you can be informed and not be excited about something. And whoop-de-doo, you're not going to do a damn thing there either. But you have to start with the motivation, with the desire. It's got to be burning. It's got to be red hot, on fire, white hot. It's got to be, thousands of degrees that you must have it. But then after that is, mindset for sure. Mindset is the second most important thing in my opinion. And that mindset, it doesn't necessarily just mean knowledge, because you can be a very wise person but not maybe know something about a subject, which is completely fine as long as you don't stay there. And so I have no problem telling somebody, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Please explain that to me. When I was younger, it bothered me to not know something because I always wanted to be right. I wanted to know the stuff, right? And I realized you can be right or you can be rich. Which one do you want to do, right? So definitely you have to have that mindset that I don't know everything. That's completely okay. I don't give a shit what other people think about that. And if they think I'm dumb because I don't know that, I promise you I can quote about, I don't know, 20 days worth of information that somebody else won't know a thing about. And so it doesn't matter. We shouldn't know everything, but we should have the framework, not necessarily all the content, but the framework. And to me, that's what mindset is having that framework in place where you have a series of things that you do. You don't go in with the concept that I know everything. That's a bad mindset, right? You go in and say, I don't know this, but I can figure it out, because if somebody else has figured this thing out, then I can too. And if I'm the first one to it, other people have invented many a thing. I can invent something too. I can come up with something that somebody hasn't heard of yet as well. But I have to go in knowing that I don't know everything and I'm going to figure it out. So however that works for people, and different strokes for different folks, but I typically find that the people that come in and are going to tell you everything, again, it comes back to, telling me and showing me. I'd much rather have the person that's very quiet that comes in and says, okay, yep, okay, and where do I go to get this information, and what do you best think I should do on this? People that come in asking questions, oh, that's my favorite thing in the whole wide world, right? Because they've got the right mindset that they're going to come in. And everybody typically is going to try and anchor a new concept to something that they already know. It's just how our brains work. We try to find those parallels and go into our mind's filing cabinet and say, oh yeah, that's underneath this folder. Let me open up that folder. Yeah, this is like that. And which is fine, but don't make connections that aren't there. And so again, mindset that you might not know everything, and it's best to ask questions and get the answers instead of showing how much of an ass you are and how much of a fool you are, because you're too busy talking instead of too busy listening. And that's a big deal on the mindset, in my opinion.
Yeah. And especially when you say, there's a lot of people that think they know it all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Other than the people that say, I can't. And those are two different types of worlds and two different types of mindsets. And that's where we share with people, hey, we want to take you from the I can't to the I don't, to the, I know I should, to the I do. And
Mm-hmm.
as we make that progression, that's how far up the ladder we make it. Because a lot of the times when we say I can't, you've given your power away. You've already told yourself you can't win. And
Yeah.
then you go to that, oh, I don't do this, but now I know why I should do this and why I should pivot into the metaverse, why I should pivot into utilizing this AI. Now it's the do. And that is where a lot of the times our traumas or dramas or patterns or program ways get in our way of doing that because of what we think other people are going to say or how other people are going to perceive us, especially in our entrepreneurship. A lot of people are quick to congratulate you when you get a new position, but not a lot of people are there and excited when you say, hey, I got a new business opening. They're like, oh no. And it's crazy the amount of likes, the amount of comments to when somebody gets the job, to when somebody goes and supports and shares and says, hey, you might want to go check out these guys over here because they can help you. And, it's just the craziness. And so, when we talk about mindset, you are the one that has went to Dr. Joe Dispenza's major transformation, strategy session that he had. And, you share with us meditation. Talk to us how important meditation has been for you in all aspects of your life, brother.
Yeah, that was definitely one of those key moments in my life where that came across, and it's I call them the nudges of life. You come up to a fork in the road, and if you get quiet and you don't come in with a predetermined direction that you're going to go, if you listen, there's a lot of intuition that's just built in, and that connection that we have. And if you listen to that, you're able to get into that space where you can hear that, you'll get these nudges. And synchronicities is another word for it, and there's 1,000 different words for it, but that's what synchronicities and nudges, and that's how it came across for me, listening to a lot of stuff on YouTube, and that became my mindset, and then content came across, and God bless the YouTube algorithm, decided to show me a guy named Ed Milet, who I thought was pretty cool, and he invited a guy named Dr. Joe Dispenza to his little podcast, and this was the second time and the only time ever that Ed Milet had somebody on multiple times. So I was like, well, shit, that's got to mean something. This guy probably knows a couple things. And man, I never forget, I was doing a 5K walk in the neighborhood for some stupid thing in the neighborhood, and so I'm listening to this thing while I'm walking, and I'll never forget how impactful that journey led down. and how that has spidered out and caused so many other things, passing on to you guys and several others, and just watching how that has affected the journey, mine included. But it was massive. It was absolutely night and day what that led to. And meditation, if first time I meditated, it was for about 5 seconds. I was so pissed off. I could not get myself to sit. I was in my dark media room, door closed, and I'm hearing the dog, I'm smelling the coffee, and I'm just like, I cannot, like, this is so freaking hard. And I look back on that now, and it's cute and adorable, but I was so damn determined to figure it out, because if other people can do it, I can do it, so that was my mindset going into it. And then I figured out the new content, and I sucked at it. Oh, I was so bad at it to get started, but I saw what it had done for others, and I wanted that. And so my desire was huge. And then I just figured out the content, and it was repetition. And you suck at first, and you get, you suck less the next time. And sometimes you suck more the next time, and you just keep going. And eventually you suck less. And then finally you get to a point like, well, shit, I'm kind of good at this. And then next thing you know, you're starting to cause some things to happen in your life. And you're like, whoa, okay, that's cool. That's powerful. That's not, can't, there, the odds against that happening repeatedly are pretty substantial. And then you start figuring out, it's like, I got my hands on something here. So, but the flip side of that is it's crazy. Even after doing, the hours of work for, Dr. Joe calls it the work, and all the trainings that he has and all the stuff that was online, and doing my own practice of it, and then going to a week-long advanced retreat where you're literally just locked away in a very nice resort for a week. And at one point I went from not being able to sit in my chair for 5 seconds to literally doing a 4.5 hour meditation. And that's pretty legit. And you might be thinking, that's a bunch of mumbo jumbo. You think all you want. Try it. Take the Pepsi challenge. And if you think you can't do it, just exhibit A right here. No chance I'm going to be able to do this. And to a point now where, like I said, 4.5 hours, and you can travel some places while sitting in your chair. It's pretty cool. But massive, massive, massive. If you've never done it, I cannot recommend. Start with YouTube. Just there's a gazillion of them out there. Start for a 5-minute guided meditation. Works for me. I love guided meditations with the right person guiding. And yeah, absolutely insanely powerful for what it's done in my life. I cannot talk about it enough.
Yeah. Me and Tara did a meditation yesterday, and it was a 49-minute meditation. And me and Tara got up out of it, and I was like, that was it? It felt like it was like 20 minutes. And
if that.
It was crazy how time goes by.
Yes.
And this is what we share with people, that especially yesterday, we had the conversation in our Wisdom Wednesday, frequency of money. And that meditation definitely allows us to answer a lot of the questions that Tara was bringing to our forefront, and really helping us understand that we are the money, and your frequency, your energy, and your vibration attracts the money. And that's something that Dr. Joe talks about, to where we can bend time by having these things come to us faster, by literally thinking those things and feeling those things.
There it is.
Right?
There
Feeling
it is.
those
Yeah.
things.
It's crazy how much, and as I don't know if how sexist this is, but as a guy in my age growing up, fuck your feelings is what, was basically the message that I've received for most of my life, as a child and as an adult. And it's crazy how much that gets suppressed. And it's amazing to me how important it is that we treat that as like some disease, like get these feelings away from me, and it's actually the thing that we should be embracing the most, I've learned. And it's been a massive shift with me as a result of that. Really makes a massive difference in everything in your life, business especially, but every aspect of it. It's crazy the shift that will make when you can get quiet just for a little bit and just strip off all the bullshit of life and literally get into a void of space and be completely comfortable there. And it's fascinating. And when you can do that, what that allows in, when you turn the noise off, and what that will allow in, oh my God. And you literally can create the loaf of bread falling out of the sky while you're out in the middle of the wilderness landing in your lap. I mean, it's nuts how the cooperative components of what's out there can simply be attracted and drawn in if you can get the hell out of your own way. It's really fascinating.
I think that was the biggest thing you said is if you can get the hell out of your own way. Because like we shared
That's it.
yesterday in our room was everybody would come into the room and they're like, well, what is the frequency of money? You are. And you are also your biggest roadblock,
Yes.
because we as humans have been conditioned to understand that we go to a job or we own a business and that we have to provide a service or provide a, give our time in order to get our money back. And when we do that, we have this predetermined timeline and to our manifestations, to the abundances or whatever, whether it's whether you want to go to a concert, buy a new truck, whatever it is, it's those things. And I shared yesterday, it's like buying a home and you got a 30-year mortgage, right, on that home. And in your mind, immediately that 30-year mortgage, you're already going through the process of, well, it's going to be 30 years before I have this house. And in reality, tomorrow you could receive the whole entire amount to you, but you're putting that 30-minute timeline on it. And so
That's so
it's,
true.
it's and the connection between meditation and that mindset for entrepreneurs is absolutely critical. And I think, in the beginning, Casey's been around us for 8+ years now. And in the beginning of our journey, as well as Casey's journey before he, discovered meditation, I remember how there were so many things that we just missed, I guess would be a good way to say it, because we weren't plugged in. We weren't tuned in. We were not willing to stop and smell the roses, as they say. And so, that leads me into the failure side of entrepreneurship. You talked about this at the beginning, where people will come in and they get so gung-ho. I got an idea. I built this website. I've done this. I've got a product, whatever it is. I'm going to call these 5 people and these 5 people are going to change my life. And all of a sudden, splat on their face. And like you said, a week into it, 2 weeks into it, they're gone. They're more scared of their shadow at that point. And how do people, handle the failure, and what is the lesson to be learned from those failures?
Yeah, it's failure and mindset come in very, very together, right? It gets into that, how do I operate? And when I was saying it before, you've got to realize that you are most likely going to suck in the beginning, and you're already there and you're okay with sucking, failure, failing, not doing what it is. Oh, I want to invent the light bulb. Like, I don't even know what it is, but I want to be able to make light out of electricity. Like, okay, cool. Well, that didn't work. Shit. That didn't work. Shit. Do that about 3,000 times and you figure out, what's your mindset made of. If your mindset's made up of, I found another way on how not to make a light bulb, that framing it up will allow you to continue on. The ego does not like being wrong. And if you can get past the ego, which is the thing that worries what everybody else thinks, you included, you want to look a certain way to the outside world. If you're so worried about that, that's getting in the way. And that's where we say, get out of your own way. That's the resistance that's on the line that's not letting the signal come in, because you're so worried about all these other hurdles instead of just getting out there and doing the thing. And if you can focus on what it is you want, feel what it is that you want. How, and people are like, well, how can I get something? But you tell me to feel as if I already have it. I used to make a joke all the time. All right, I want a plate of nachos, right? And if I don't have a plate of nachos, I'm focusing on the fact that I don't have a plate of nachos. All right, well, just think about what it is to have nachos. Well, I've never eaten nachos, but I want some. So how do I know what it is? Well, and you can use that analogy with anything. You might not have ever tasted that success at that level or for that thing specifically, but you know what the feeling of success feels like because you've tied your shoes, hopefully, at some point, or maybe you got the Velcro to work. I don't know. But at some point, you've had success of the thing that you wanted, and there's a feeling, that level of elation that you have. If you can focus on the feeling of what it is to have the thing, you don't care about the failures. They don't even matter because you know it's just the steps along the journey to get there. And you're so focused on the present moment that you're not worried about not having the thing that you want. Failure pisses people off because it's a reminder that you don't have the thing that you want, right? That's why you get pissed off. That's why you feel failure is like, well, shit, I still don't have my plate of nachos, right? But I really want them. And well, what you're doing is you're focusing on the lack of nachos, right? And so the more you think about, I don't have any nachos, the universe is going, well, shit, homeboy just wants to have the feeling of not having nachos. Let's give him some more of that. And you have failure after failure after failure. And finally, when you get quiet and you just chill and you figure out how to meditate and not kick the dog, then all of a sudden you get out of the way and you quantum level attract that damn thing straight into it, and you don't know how the nachos showed up, but you wake up and all of a sudden somebody's walking in with some nachos. And you're like, well, that's pretty freaking cool. Where did that come from? Because you're so pissed off on how you're going to get the nachos that you're getting in the way of the nachos. You're focusing on all of that how instead of what is the feeling of having it. They're going to be so good. Well, I've never eaten nachos, so how can I know how it tastes? Well, you've eaten something that was good, right? Maybe you had a quesadilla, and that was pretty freaking awesome. Well, you want to have that feeling. Nobody gives a shit about money. They want the feeling that that money's going to bring them, that I can go out and buy as many nachos as I want, or cars, or houses, or trips, or boats, or whatever it might be. So you got to be able to have, you leave it open, you got to be able to have all of the feeling up front, and then you don't care about failure. You don't give two shits about failure. You just know that failure is simply a visualization of what's going on inside of you. It's just you're attracting that. When shit's not going good, chances are you probably haven't meditated in the last couple days. And then you snap out of it because you've been, 47 years that, you have been doing this, and then all of a sudden you start it. You're probably not going to have it down. You have learned a certain way of being for so long, but I guarantee you, the moment that you sit down and get quiet, you get the breakthrough. You get tapped into source, and all of a sudden the signal that is all around us, you actually plug in. It's not like all of a sudden the signal shows up. You just aren't tapped in, tuned in, plugged in, hooked up, jacked into the system. You're out here pinched off. You got your little freaking aluminum foil hat on top of your head, pinched off from source, and you're failing all over the place. Sit down, chill out for a second, remember what it is that you're going after, and get clear that you're going after the feeling. Nobody ever did anything because they want the thing. They're doing it because they're going to feel a certain way when they get the thing. If you can focus on that, you don't care about the failures, you get out of the way of them, and you're going to have less of them. That's what I found.
Yeah. And, one of the things that I shared the other day is, and I asked the question, I said, in our lives, do we fail or do we quit? And a lot of the times we quit because failing is learning and growing and gaining knowledge. And
Yes.
the fear that we have with failing is just the beginning of wisdom. And
That's
failure is a state of mind. And I think a lot of the times we get in that state of mind of failure, which then continues on to the next thing. And I even shared this morning. A lot of the times we allow our past to be today's purpose. Because we failed yesterday, we bring that into today for our purpose. And that just continues to be an ongoing cycle. And something that you shared that I think most people miss, that when the light bulb was being created, dang, I found another way that it didn't work. Mm-hmm. And that right there is the same concept as, try to find 100 no's. You will not get to that concept. But if you're focused on that one yes, then you're in a world of trouble. And then this is where the self-conscious and the you're this and you're that, and we talk to ourselves 5,000 to 6,000 times a day, and you're fighting a losing battle with yourself. And so that's so key when you share that, especially when we talk about failure. And I think a lot of the times we allow that word to be just some taboo when you should be accepting that as much as possible, because
Yep.
a person, a woman, or a man with regret is better than someone that didn't try at all. And a lot of the times we're not even trying because we have this mentality or this mindset. Oh, I'm not good at that, or this
Yeah.
isn't me. Right?
Yeah, 100%. And unfortunately, if you look at most education systems, you're not you're it's the negativity that comes in. They're going to come in here big old red X, right? And then we get scared of the X. We don't want to have the failure. We only get the love when we're praised for success. And that's not a good state to be in, because you're looking for that. And if I'm not successful, then I don't get the praise. I don't get the thing that I want, which is the feeling of that success. And so now I associate the failure, which has such a negative connotation to it. I start focusing on that, and then I don't want that. Well, guess what? The thing that you focus on is the thing that you attract. And so you get more of that. You ever have those days where, it's not going so well, and then all of a sudden, more things aren't going so well? I'll give you a prime example. Tuesday, I had to go into the office, which is a very rare thing for me, and then end up getting, we needed to stay an extra hour, which gets into 4 o'clock. I was supposed to be leaving at 3, but now I'm leaving at 4. So now I'm going to get stuck in rush hour Houston traffic. Yay. And then I'm going along, and oh, sweet mother of God, this one was extra salty, man. 2 hours and 9 minutes to do what should have taken 55 minutes. So I'm sitting there, and I'm having a moment, right? And it is not a conducive, positive environment in the middle of the Tesla.
Casey's turning red.
Oh yeah, man. It does not take much, as you guys know. I have a flashbang freaking temper, and so I'm sitting there and literally sitting there, and I had to take a moment, because as I'm finally up to speed, I get a rock chip in my car, and I'm like, seriously, on top of all this, now that, and then and it hit me, and then I started laughing. I was like, imagine that. I'm stuck in traffic, and my mentality is diminishing rapidly. And instead of being appreciative of the fact that I'm in my car that's driving itself, it's a freaking Tesla. I'm not even having to drive, right? It's doing it. I'm literally on my phone, and my car is and I'm on my phone, like paying no attention because the car's got it. And some of y'all might freak out. I've been driving this thing long enough. It is legit for driving itself, especially at slow speeds. So
we'll have Casey join us right back. But yeah, love, I think Casey's spot on when, he talks about the just being prepared and being able to just go with the flow. I think that's so key. Oh, are you back? No, he's not back. All right. But love, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's such a trip down memory lane, because we have lived and walked this path, right? We have been into this, just Casey talking about the upset in the car. We have you and I have definitely been there. And it's something that we are both, learning. All of us are learning that it's just so much easier just to like relinquish control and just allow it to be, and that's such a hard thing, to do when you're so used to being in control of how you feel, how your day goes, and having, traffic, or being, on, at work for an hour longer and things like that. We know how much that really can just impact the mindset, and so talking about this and all of the just the path that we have walked, listening to Casey share, it's like, oh yeah. And in the beginning, it's like when we used to sit down with Casey and have these conversations, it was, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. And now it's just like, yeah, There we go. Here we go again. And it's just it's so nice to be able to have a conversation and listen to, it, for me to really identify how far we have come, how far we've been able to, implement the understanding of, why it's so important to connect with ourselves and, meditate and take care of our self-care, and how that transitions over into a business and how we then, manage our business and maintain our business through these life lessons that Casey's talking about. And in the more the cooler side of this is neither you nor I wanted to be in business, really. It was not our first thing. And then our mindset kind of started changing about maybe we could do something on the side. And now here we are running our entire business, and only our business, and not, depending on a job or anything of that nature. And it really just comes down to the simple fact of, the perseverance of showing up and having, being connected and plugged in and having that mindset with the meditation, with the understanding. It's just really cool to see how far we've come. What's your thoughts, love?
Well, hearing Casey sharing his story, and then these memories that he shared with us, and then some of his verbiage that he used, buckle up, buttercups, that's cute and adorable. A lot of the times, I forget that, we've been around each other so much that, we kind of start with each other's, we can start and end our sentences together. And
Yeah.
that's the crazy thing about this all, which is, the crazy thing is that Casey is able to share with you guys all, his trials and tribulations and what he's went through and how he's able to utilize these things. And you guys hear us talk about the importance of meditation. You hear us talk about, hey, you got to make sure, you feel these things. You got to make sure that, you believe in yourself, because you can self-sabotage yourself as well. And so, Casey, with you being back with us, brother, how would you balance, risk and rewards? How does that play out for you?
Oh, wow. Yeah, sorry, we have a massive storm coming through Houston right now, so it knocked out everything. Risk to reward, how do I balance that? You know, the bigger the reward, the bigger the risk I'll take. When it's something that is when it's something that's non-negotiable for me from a desire perspective, I will bet the farm on it. I will bet it all. And because and this has been a journey for me, but as going through that and seeing all the times, even myself and absolutely in others, people play small ball way too much. They don't go for the hit. They don't go for it. And they look back on their life and it's amazing the regret that's there. There's one of my mentors had this one. He said, a grave is just a rut is just a grave with both ends cut out. So many people are dead. They just need to be put in the ground and put the dirt over the top of them because they're done. They're not going for it anymore. They get comfortable. Yeah, it is still going in and out here. Hope the router holds again. Um, it's like somebody screwing with the lights. Nope,
Yeah.
that's the electricity storm doing that. But so many people they just give up on it. They've had failures and they don't like how that feels, and so it's safer to just not do anything. And this bullshit, not do anything. Sit on the sidelines and criticizing all the people that are out there actually doing it. That's my favorite thing. It's like, look, you don't want to do it. That's fine. But shut the fuck up on how I'm not going to do it because you're too lazy to do it. And I've realized, used to it pissed me off. Then I just realized it's simply a matter of they're not even aware of what it is they're doing. It's a built-in mechanism to keep their ego safe so that they can live in their small little freaking bubble because they're not willing to go out and risk it because they did it at some point. Everybody's risked it. Everybody's taken a shot. But if their mindset sucks, if They haven't gone through those trials and tribulations and got back up because simply their desire was not great enough. And so many people will argue with me, well, you don't know what I've been through. That's the next thing that comes out of their mouth. And I tell them, I don't care. I care, but I don't care about those specifics because we've all been through them. Jim Rohn has the greatest one ever for a quote. The wind blows on us all. It's the set of your sail that matters. You're in this little dinghy of life out there and the waves are crashing. Man, everybody's been through it. Everybody's had that. They've had their own version. I believe that's firmly what we're here for. But have you figured it out? Have you figured out the formula? And the formula is desire. Figure out your desire and then realize that it's worth the risk to go for it, and then go for it and do it until. It's pretty damn simple, you know, but we make it a lot harder than it needs to be, and most people are not willing to risk it. They just aren't. They get comfortable in their mediocrity. And it's sad to see, especially when it's people that you love and people that you care for. That's the hardest part. And you could, how many times did I tell you all this, and how many times was I told this? You can't want it for somebody more than they want it for themselves. No truer freaking words have ever been spoken. And you realize that it's, you know, and a lot of business, you know, you think about it, it's like, well, how am I going to make this big business if I have to rely on people, but yet I can't make these people do the thing? No, you cannot. But here's what you do instead. You surround yourself with a community of like-minded people. Like these two rock stars.
Well, right when we get our kudos, off he goes.
I just do.
Houston.
Yeah. Houston's getting pinched off right now.
We got rock stars. Go ahead, love. Go ahead.
Well, you know, okay, you say that, and this is a question off the cuff. It's not on our rap sheet today. So hopefully your power sticks around for you to answer this. Is you said something in the beginning, which was, you know, people will get in, they're going to be the loudest in the room sometimes about, I know how to do this, you know, watch out. I'm finding my
Hold
five.
my beer. Watch this.
That part. And you said your favorite people coming in are the ones that ask questions, or a little more silent and kind of like that. And I think back to when we met. And for those that don't know, you know, David and I were in the middle of a mindset journey. And actually that's how we met Casey, was at starting our mindset journey. And Casey and I actually met up before I ever introduced him to David. And, you know, then David and Casey and I sat around a table and decided to become partners in, you know, a network marketing company, as most people are scared of. And my question for you is, when you talk about people and how they just kind of die out and they don't have the longevity, what was it that you saw in David and I? Because we weren't the entrepreneurial type, right? When we met with you, we were very much the job minded. We both had jobs. We didn't have that entrepreneurial drive or desire, but we had something. And I asked that because we still hold that today, you know, as two individuals that show up for our business. And so my question for you would be, and hopefully he hasn't froze, because it looks like he is frozen. But, you know, my question would be, at the end of the day, I think he is frozen. So we'll wait till he comes back with us. But
tell the story about, you know, how the whole thing with Casey started, and then introducing him to me while we wait on Casey to come back.
Absolutely. So, you know, how we met Casey was David and I both went to, I had went to a mindset journey seminar. And in this seminar, 3-day seminar, I had met a young lady there. Her name was Sherry. And still, you know, a part of our community to this day, a part of her community to this day. Miss Passmore. And, you know, in that, Sherry and I became friends and talking, and just, you know, really, because we were there for a whole nother reason of mindset. But Sherry had stood up and said, you know, my commitment is to help over 200,000 people be able to live a better life, essentially. And the reason why those words resonated with me so much when she shared that, and why I then wanted to go seek her out after the seminar and go meet up with her, talk to her, become friends with her, was because the whole reason I was at the seminar was I was feeling like I lacked fulfillment, drive, purpose. I didn't feel like I was helping enough people. I was helping myself, and that was it. And to me, that wasn't okay. And I was ready to be in service of others. And so when she shared that in front of a room of 50 to 70 people, it was the fact of resonate with that. And so we became friends. And then that's when she shared, and she was like, well, I want you to meet one of my mentors and partners. And that was Casey. And so Casey actually showed up to one of the final evening of the seminar when kind of everybody, because he was actually had already been through this seminar. He was the one who referred Sherry to go. And so that's how I met Casey. And in conversation with him, just sharing about, where I was at in life, I was tired of, just living for myself. I wasn't in service of others. I was ready to help other people. I wanted other people to thrive and live successfully. And through that conversation, that's when Casey was sharing about with us what he was up to, and that he was creating a community that was going to serve 200,000 plus and impact 200,000 plus people within their health, wealth, and, abundance. And it came down to the simple fact of, I went and had lunch with him and to speak about the conversation, and he's back. We're just sharing the story of actually how we met. Casey. And so Casey and I went and had lunch and spoke about what he was up to in detail. And I was like, this is phenomenal. You need to share this with my significant other. However, I need to share this with my significant others, how that went. And he said, oh, pump the brakes, lady. Yes, you do. He is going to listen to you through, timeout. That's all well and good, and I'm glad that you want to share it with him.
Cute and adorable.
Yeah, cute and adorable. But he's going to listen to you in a set of ears differently than if if I was to share that with him. So I then connected David and Casey. And the crazy thing was that the day that Casey came to our house to meet up with David and sit down with him, and first of all, you guys, for David to allow another man to come to our house that I had met, that was just, I'll be very frank. I had apprehension about that because I was like, David's going to think that I'm cheating on him, like with some dude, and like, what's going on? And so I had apprehension about all of this because I just knew the old mindset that David and I worked in and were coming from. And so when we did that, when the meetup happened, David was actually in his mindset journey. He didn't go at the same time I did. He was in the middle of his. And if you know that mindset journey that that seminar that we went to, it's 3 days. And then there's a day in between and then the Tuesday. And so Casey came to our house on that Monday, which was the day in between. And as Casey was shared earlier, synchronicities, nudges, whatever you want to talk about, however they are, that was one of them, because where David was at with his mindset, he was open. We talk about the 4 most expensive things that you have. You can have it's a closed mind, a closed mouth, a closed hand, and a closed heart. You need to open that mind to think about other things and have the option or the opportunities of the possibilities are endless, and being open to those. It's being able to ask for help and ask questions. It's being able to have open hands to reach out for help if someone has their hand out to help you or to help others through theirs as well. And it's that heart chakra that we talk about, open to be able to, because of that attraction. And David was not, nor I were at that point in our relationship or our mentality of who we were as a person. And after I went through my journey, or started my journey at the seminar, David went a few months later. David stopped smoking that same day we met Casey. David, then we chose to get in business and become partners with Casey. And just the change, the transformation, because like I was sharing, Casey, and what I'm back to my question now that I've shared kind of the story, is when you sat down with us and we said, yes, let's do this, we're in, and you have shared that there's so many people that a week or two and they're gone. What was it for you that you saw in us? Because whatever you saw in us, you fostered, And that has then led David and I to be where we are today in business 8 years later, now full-fledged into our business and zero, JOBs. And so, share a little bit more about maybe how we met, your reactions or your recollections and kind of what you saw.
Yeah, yeah, it was crazy thinking back, and I'm just smiling on the synchronicity. I'm very, there's key moments in my life where I can tell you exactly. I was telling you about going on that 5K walk when it was a big moment. I can remember exactly where I was sitting around the little table. I remember David coming in, and I was doing the thing, and he got up, and I'm like, where the fuck is this guy going? And he's going, getting his credit card, comes in, slams it on the table, and is like, I'll take two. I'm like, holy shit, let's go, And then one of the things that really everybody that not everybody 99 out of 100 that sit down getting ready to join business for what we do, they're all excited the same way that y'all were excited, but you guys were much more of that type where you weren't telling me how you're going to just crush it. It was a quiet knowing. I could see that, and it's like a Highlander senses a Highlander, right? I could see that desire, and I could see the mindset that was already built in from what y'all had already done up to that point. But what really got me was I hadn't even made it home, and y'all had already jumped on a call that I was getting ready to do, or somebody else was getting ready to do, and you guys were on that call. And so you did what you said you were going to do. And that's a really big deal for me to see people do that. Now, shit happens, things, lights go out, routers go offline, but you see the desire and the intent of what somebody's got, and y'all did that. So that was a big deal for me to see. The other thing was that you guys give me tons of praise for this, but honestly, what it didn't have shit to do with me. I was a cooperative component that happened to be at the right place at the right time. Didn't have that pinched off part that we were talking about. I was open on all those levels. Y'all were open on all those levels, and that's why it worked. And that's what joined that together. And while we attracted, it's like two planets circling around or three planets circling around, and all of a sudden comes into alignment. And that's what happened in that moment. Without a doubt, I've got goosebumps all over the place. That's what happened, and that's powerful. Get a little misty. Stand by. The router's going out. I don't know what it is.
Don't worry. That's why I have bright lights over here. You can't tell when there's a weird world on that, because it is. When we sit back and think about when you came into our life, and what we've been through since that, is just a really time of gratitude. That's what it is. It's just gratitude.
I'll never forget when we got a little bit more involved and we had to do a presentation. I came to Casey's house, and we brung people with us and everything of that sort. He's like, and you're running the presentation, David. And I'm like, what do you mean I'm running the presentation? I've just been in maybe a week or so. What are you talking about? He's like, Nope, you got it. And, ever since that moment, it's been crazy, because Tara might say that she didn't have the entrepreneur, we didn't have it, but I always told people. I told this one girl when I was in college, I'm like, I'm going to have my own business. I'm being an entrepreneur. I'm going to do this. And, it was always in me, because my father had it, but then got into the job and got
into that pattern.
Got in the pattern, and then just Casey came and just shook up the whole world. And really, at the end of the day, man, I cannot thank you enough for that transition and that pivot. And that's why I'm number 19 on his list. And, when we talk about network marketing, a lot of people are afraid of it. A lot of people are, I'm not sure it's that pyramid thing, not realizing your ass is already in a pyramid thing. And not only that, you talked about, how people are now in a grave, and we're talking about this AI and this robotics taking over. And I'm here to share with people, you're already a robot if you're doing the same things over and over again. And what network marketing did for us was it surrounded us with people that wanted more in life, that saw more in us.
The
and
catalyst.
We were surrounded with a community that did more things. And it was just so inviting and so amazing. And so, one of my questions would be to you is, what has network marketing done for you in your entrepreneurship journey?
Yeah. it's crazy how so many different leaders in the world started with network marketing. And one of the reasons for that is it is a low barrier of entry to be able to get in with a very large upside on the other end. And people just don't get that concept of how powerful that is. But what it does is it gets you around the right people. And that's, like I said, you know, timing was everything. If I would have had that conversation with you even 3 days prior, we would not be doing what we're doing right now.
No.
Guaranteed. Now, who knows how it would have went? Maybe it still would have happened in a different universe, in a different alternative universe. But down this path, would not have happened because of the timing of where everybody was at, myself included, along with y'all. So all of that had to be in alignment. But network marketing, man, it was the catalyst that got us to go down that path. And then we went off and did many a different thing. The hippie, the hacker, and the hustler, man. That's another one. And we did a lot of stuff. We found a lot of freaking ways to not build a light bulb. But every single one of those, we learned another thing. And so failure, if you want to call it that, or learning something else, and you learn how something doesn't work, but as a result, you learn how some other things work. And then you take a little piece of that, little piece of that. Next thing you know, you come along and you realize I had to go through all of that to get to this point. And if I hadn't have done that, then this opportunity couldn't have been here. And so it's crazy to think about. You can get so stuck far in the past, you can get way stuck into the future, or you can look at the present moment, recognize the past and the future, but understand that you're here right now as a result of all of that. And then you get to figure out where you're going to go. And network marketing was the catalyst for that because it got us around like minded people. Might not be doing the same thing we were doing before, but guess what? It comes around, and if you'll be open to it and you'll seize the opportunity, embrace the challenges and seize the opportunity, right? It got us into that mindset of knowing that there is a different way. A job is not the only way. A job is great. It's much better than being homeless and panhandling, right? I promise you, that's better. But there's a better way beyond that, and network marketing is a very good way of getting that started. Tony Robbins, guess what? He got started in network marketing with Jim Rohn. Jim Rohn got started in network marketing. There's so many people that have gone through that, and all of them that are successful will look back at that and say, that's good. And people, why aren't they doing that? Well, why do you eat the same things you ate 20 years ago? You change, your palate changes, but it's the mindset. It's that framework that you build. It's the skeleton. You can put all kinds of, you look at the three of us, we do not look anything alike. But you strip away everything else, you get to the skeleton, we're all going to look the same freaking way. All those bones are attached the exact same way. It's the framework, that foundation that's there. And then the content is a little bit different. So you got to build that structure, and network marketing is the way to do it on a very inexpensive way to be able to do it. One of the greatest phrases I heard was, don't become a millionaire just for the money. Do it for who you'll become on your way to a millionaire. And that's a Jim Rohn quote as well. And he started off in Herbalife. Everybody, oh my God, Herbalife. Headlines start coming up in their brain about that. But man, the dude took that, ran with that, and as a result of him, there's a guy named Eric Worre that exists on this planet. There's a guy named Darren Hardy that exists on this planet. There's a guy named Tony Robbins that exists on this planet, all as a result of what that dude learned. And guess what? Prior to him, there were some other people too, and it just keeps building on. But network marketing was the catalyst for it all, without a doubt.
As David shares, network marketing works, but people don't work.
True statement. True statement. Yep. Yep. And the other thing is that I found is that people, it depends on where they're at in their journey, right? Some people are ready for it. You guys were at the right place at the right time, and that synchronicity popped up. I happened to go to Sherry's event, which I'm sure you were telling the story, and I happened to get up and talk, and I didn't want to get up in front of that group, and I'm like, screw it, let's do this thing. So I got up there and did my thing, and for whatever reason, it resonated with her. There was also, I don't know, 200 more people in there, and not a single one of them came up and talked to me. Well, a couple of them did, but they didn't follow up with me after I reached back out to them. But she did, and we had lunch, and then here we are. And as a result of that, still not done counting the lives impacted as a result of that random synchronicity. But we had to be at that place at that time on our
Yeah.
journey for that to have occurred when it did. And it's really cool. And what's also kind of neat that this has hit me is that once you start getting those groups and you start collecting those friendships and those impacts that you have, that continues on down the road in many different forms and ways. It is
Yeah.
incredible the amount of things that the three of us are all hooked up and involved in, either things that y'all have brought to me, and I'm like, sounds good, let's roll, or vice versa. I was like, hey, here's some things maybe y'all want to take a look, and they're like, hell yeah, let's roll. And then other ones are just like, yeah, not my thing, not my time, I'm not ready for that right now. It's completely cool. No, don't take offense to that. Just understand that that's just your job, is simply to present the opportunity and see if they are at the right spot for that. And if
Yeah.
they're not, that's okay. They're just not ready for it. And chances are you don't want them with you right now anyway, because they're
No.
not ready for it.
Yeah. Well, this leads us into, the first of all, it's so good to kind of go back down memory lane just to understand kind of how far we've been. David and I were sharing that while you were on one of your glitch breaks. That, it's so good to just kind of understand how far we've come, as all three of us as a whole. And something that you are passionately a part of is Web3. You're
Yes.
also passionately a part of, being able to be within the space of, entrepreneurship, network marketing, and things like that. And even though David and I still have network marketing as a portion of our business, we also, have Web3 as a portion of our business, where it's, more of a standard, old school kind of type business model where it is helping people make that pivot. And so I would love for you, Casey, to share a little bit more about, because you're, part of, your community that is the Web3 community and things like that. Where are we going as not only a society, but as business too? Where are we going as we're making this transition that everybody doesn't know we're in the middle of?
Well, I'll tell you one that I'm a part of, and my segue into it is as a result of being involved in network marketing and meeting people that have the right mindset, that has led me into many an opportunity that I would never have had a chance to be able to participate in. Some of them have sucked terribly and lost, and some of those have turned into absolute gold mines, and a couple of them are ones that I'm currently super excited about. One of them is called Sixth Society. So the number six, TH, Sixth Society, and it talks about the different evolutions that humans have gone through, starting off with language, the printing press, the agricultural, the industrial revolution, the computer age, the internet, and then next thing up is Web3. And Web3 includes multiple different things, but this organization, it's basically, think of it as an incubator that you've never had a chance to be a part of. How cool would it have been to be a part of the initial IPO of Google? Right, you didn't even know what Google was. Facebook, now Meta, and we're here on freaking Spatial, which is hooked into this thing. And how cool is that? That's where the world's going, man. I laugh at teachers that say, that TV's going to rot your eyes out while you're playing all those video games. Ha ha, joke's on you, right? So, it's incredible how the world has changed. But as a result of network marketing and making connections to human beings and realizing that was the gold mine, was having that opportunity to be able to be with these people, that has led me to be a part of this organization called Six Society. And they're all in on AI, Web3, what David's showing you right here. The world is 100%. It's not about to change. It has already changed. Just like when Google came around, it's like, oh, well, this is going to cause all these things in the future to happen. No, it happened then. Amazon. How cool would it have been to be a part of Amazon back in the day? And you got to realize nobody knew that it was going to be those. At the beginning, it was crap. They sold a couple books online. Now, how many deliveries do you get a week from Amazon? It is insane from what that has turned into. And being able to be a part of those things, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I might be okay on some things, but a lot of things I have no problem saying I don't have a clue about that. But what I've realized is let me find the people that do know something about that, leverage my time, and get into opportunities where they appreciate that and they simply need the capital investment and they'll go handle those things. And that's what this has been. I've been able to get involved in this, and it's going to be an absolute game changer for me, without a doubt. It's allowing me to be a part of the blockchain. Everybody thinks blockchain and crypto are the same thing. They're absolutely not. Crypto is a thing on the blockchain, but the blockchain is the power. That's where everything's going to change. And it's amazing to me how very smart people who make a crap ton of money are talking shit about things that they don't completely understand, and they're having some whoopsies. I'll give you an example. Vanguard. Everybody's probably heard of Vanguard and realize that's a pretty big organization. Well, the CEO of that decides that he knows better than the rest of the planet, and the blockchain is crap and Bitcoin doesn't mean anything, and we're not going to offer this to our people, and it's not going to make a difference. Nobody's going to leave as a result of it. Well, guess what? He got his little ass bounced down the sidewalk when they fired him, when they lost 3 million customers that said, no, I would like an opportunity to invest in Bitcoin ETFs. This is the head of Vanguard. And who did they replace him with? A dude that comes in that literally came from BlackRock and is all up in the knowing of the crypto on the blockchain and understood what it is. And he's the guy that took his place. That's an example of it's not coming, it's here. The amount of money that's being dumped into these technologies is, you can't even get your head wrapped around how much of it is out there. The blockchain is where everything, it is the sixth society, the sixth evolution of society. The things that are going to be put on there, real estate transactions, anything, it's going to be something that is, somebody can't control it, somebody can't manipulate it. It decentralizes it so that there's not some bank that's going to tell you when you can take your own freaking money in and out, offering banking services where people that don't have access to that these days will be able to do that. And that's just a few of the projects that this organization that I'm a part of is in, where they're going out and finding, it's like Shark Tank for Web3, figuring out what are the things that we should be in and then offering those services. And I'm just sitting back watching it going, hey, I'm a cooperative component and I really appreciate being at the right place at the right time for y'all to go sort all of that out and literally set my family for generations to come financially free, simply as a result of seizing an opportunity, thinking outside of the box, and not giving two fucks what anybody else thinks. And I use that word to freak people out because they get so ridiculously out of whack because you used a 4-letter word. It's like, on purpose, so that you realize how stupid people act based on what you can't say. That says who? I just did. What are you going to do about it? You're sitting here worried about that instead of me snapping you out of your freaking grave, out of that rut you're in, to realize there is an opportunity in front of you and you're so focused on that word. It's fascinating to me. But yeah, man, I am so jazzed about Web3 and what it's going to bring. It is literally going, all of those 5 societal things that happened before literally change the trajectory of mankind, and being able to level that playing field, robotics and what that's going to do. People, oh my God, it's going to displace so many people and it's going to steal jobs. So you can go do something that's actually good for the world instead of attaching this little bolt into this little freaking hole so that you can have some widget and that's what you're going to do for the rest of your day. What if you could actually go do something that was meaningful with your life beyond just making widgets? And I'm telling you, it's fascinating to see what's coming. It's going to be a lot of change. It's going to be a lot of disruption. Most people don't have the mindset to handle that, but if they do, I tell you what, you could not be more set up at the right place at the right time. Anybody wants to know more about Six Society, by all means, reach out to me. And I've got this really cool thing called a business in a box that these two lovely human beings created for me. And you can contact me on that and be happy to introduce you to it. But yeah, it's crazy what's out there and what's coming in that space, without a doubt.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the things that we have been sharing with people is that, you know, the future's already here, especially when we talk about the metaverse, especially when we talk about Web3 and blockchain. We've been sharing this and shouting this from the mountaintop that, you know, as we look at technology, we can't be this naive. Those of us that have grown up, we saw us go from 8 tracks to tapes to CDs to iPods. We saw us go from the block, you know, phone to the suitcase phone to, you know, the flip phone to the BlackBerry to the color BlackBerry to the iPhone. And we saw that transition, and it was all because of a different experience. And a lot of people don't know this, but I'm gonna share it with you all. Did you know when the dishwasher got introduced, people freaked out that this dishwasher was going
No
to,
one's going to use that.
you know, and I wish we had a dishwasher here in Mexico because we are the
We
dishwasher.
are the dishwasher.
So this is where we ask people to open up their minds. And Tara said, you know, open up their hand to help other people. But this is also opening up your hand to invest. A lot of the times we look for what you said earlier, that quick, instant, what am I going to get? What am I going to get instantly? And people not realizing that when you do put your storefront in the Hello Plaza and are able to tell people, hey, instead of you going to this crusty, dusty website, my business is in the metaverse in this 3D immersive experience that Gucci, Nike, JP Morgan companies have already implemented, and I'm there too. Go and check it out, because that business card is going in my wallet, going in my purse, going in my cup holder, and technology is not going to put that card in your actual phone unless you got one of those scanners. And that was 10 years ago when I was like, ooh, I can
Yep.
get this app and I can take a picture of this card and it can go in my phone in my contacts. We are past that, especially as Chat GPT 4.0 opened up on Monday, and we did a live presentation on that. And we've been sharing with people that it's copy, paste, drag, drop to have a business. And right now is the best time to start a business, to start a side hustle, to turn your passion into profitable success.
Yep.
And now, my friends, we've gotten to the point where you can communicate it, and you can communicate it effectively and talk to this app, this AI app that knows everything and anything and can share with you and can teach you and can do the things you want it to do if you train it the right way. And yet we still won't take that action. And this is where you shared from the beginning, because of the mindset that we all lack. And you said it earlier. A lot of people are already dead, not even much realizing it. And you shared this with us a long time ago. Some people get out of the bed the same way. And a lot of people brush their teeth with their right hand. And I guarantee you, take your left hand and try to brush your teeth. It's a little awkward. And I got your ass if you actually did, and you felt how awkward it was as well when you did it. Imagine if you did that with the rest of the things in your life to really be able to pivot. And we share facts and not feelings. And so often we get in our feelings of what this is and what that was and what my granddaddy, my grandpa, my mama, my daddy said, when that's old and dead. You know, it's now time to pivot and start relearning and start retooling and start re-strategizing, or you're not going to be here. And I shared this and I'll share it again. There's going to be 2 types of businesses: the business that implements AI and metaverse, and the business that's not going to no longer be here. Ask Blockbuster. And so this is where we're at right now for us to really be able to pivot and transition and utilize this technology and be ahead of the curve, like we should have been with Google, like we should have been with real estate. I mean, downtown Houston, if we had went and bought property 15, 20 years ago, we wouldn't be on this call right now. We would not be on this call. And I'm more than certain, Casey, you might have got opportunities. I know I did. And I was like, whatever. That wasn't me. That's not my thing. But I'm going to the club. I'm spending money on valet. I'm blowing money here, left and right. And I'm kicking myself in the butt. I'm not regretting it, but I learned my lessons now.
You learned.
The other day, you know, Tara said we sacrificed. Most people don't know the word sacrifice. They trade in what they want now for what they should want later. And that's the craziest thing that, you know, we share with you guys all. But other than that, brother, I know you got some other things that you want to share with us. Is there anything else that we didn't ask that you want to share with the world?
Man, I tell you, you guys, you covered a lot of ground, and it's been a lot of fun. That last part that you just said there on passing over those opportunities, right? And I love that acronym, POUR, passing over opportunities repeatedly. It happens often. And I will say, I'll just do a plug for you guys. These guys they're on the cutting edge of something, but not so early, like, and they've been in it from the beginning, but it's not them just saying this. Look at the massive billion-dollar and trillion-dollar companies that are 100% all in on this. One of the things in Six Society that we get this newsletter that's just fascinating newsletter on a weekly basis, and it just talks about just amazing differences that's occurring. Everything that they're in the middle of right now is what the massive, big, huge hundreds of billions of dollar companies are doing, and they're investing heavily in it. JP Morgan, you mentioned them earlier. I worked at JP Morgan for a decade. I was there when Jamie Dimon took over at JP Morgan. And he was the biggest, he shat on cryptocurrency like nobody's business when it first started, until he could talk so much shit about it to help drive it down that then they went in and bought it all up. And now they have their own, they're all up in cryptocurrency, man. So whenever somebody's talking a bunch of trash about something, look at what they're actually doing it for and look at what their motivations are. But that is a company that's got trillions of dollars in assets that they manage, that they handle. And guess what? They're all in the middle of all of the things that these two wonderful human beings are talking about. And what I love about them is the done for you model, bro. It's done for you, right? It's business in a box. What's so great about what they've done is you you don't have to understand all of the nuts and bolts. You don't know how an internal combustion engine works, but you do know that you get in, you put the key in, you start it, and you smash on the thing on the right, and you hold on as tight as you can, and you go places. Before you get in, it doesn't ask you a 17 question quiz on do you know what a spark plug does? No, you don't need to know. You can if you want to, or you can let these folks who have sat there, figured it all out, and done that for you to get you into this new world that we're in. They take care of all that for you. That's the beauty of what they've built and what I love for how they've gone about doing it. And they have leapfrogged so many times to be where they are right now. And the proof's in the pudding. Look at all of the people that they have helped and see how they've done it. And yeah, my hat's off to you guys. I love it. I love what you've done. I love how you've gone in and tinkered with it and figured out what doesn't work first and then figured out what does work. And you guys have got something that is very, very special for a lot of entrepreneurs that are out there. You entrepreneurs need to focus on what it is you focus on and don't worry about this infrastructure stuff. That is not your job. Your job is to focus on what it is that you do and let them do what they do and partner with them, collaborate with them, and let them take care of those things. And believe me, they are on the cutting edge of this, and they are doing what big companies are already doing and are starting to figure out, and they're doing that for the entrepreneur, so you don't have to go in and spend millions of dollars to figure this out to have that presence. They're already doing that for you, and that's what's so cool about this technology is it levels it so that people like this can do what they're doing. It's a big freaking deal. So I hope you guys recognize that. And I hope you lock arms with these two because they are two of my favorite people on the planet without a doubt.
Well, so we're cutting onions already. Thank you. I just in that share, first of all, thank you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Thank you for being the cattle prod when we needed to be. We don't need much cattle prod, David. I don't, but we just need a little bit of inclination and send you two on down the road. And it made me think of how you were talking about how Casey has always challenged David and I to be the one of let me drop you off in a desert and I better come back and there better be a full operating city being, and we said, well, that's cute and adorable. We're going to build a world instead. And so, again, Casey, gratitude for the kudos that you give us. But I hope a lot of people realize when they listen to this interview where a lot of our integrity and morals come from. Yes, they were ours, but you have helped develop and shine those up. And now when we end every conversation with love, kindness, integrity, commitment, and consistency, it is because of who you are in the belief system of us. A lot of times, and we share this with other people because now we see it. We can see the talent in someone else like you share, but you can't do it for them. And you can't want it for them. And that was the biggest thing that we learned was through your mentoring and your just kind of, guided direction at times of understanding that we have to find our desire. And our desire is, so in line with what your desire is. Yours is only a mere 200,000 people. We want to help billions and billions, but all jokes, all love. But again, you talk about where we're going, and it is so important for people to understand we are already there. You are at the early cusps of it. Now is to get intrigued. Now is to get busy. Now is to get plugged in. It is the time is now. It is not. And like Casey said, allow us to do it for you. Just like Casey is a part of a community of Sixth Society, he allows that community to go do the foraging for him. But he's smart enough to be in that space. And so that's what we come up and we share with you guys as well, is that we are those people. You are the expert in what you do. I don't know early childhood. I don't know knitting, crocheting. I don't know, things that other people know. But what I do know is systems. We know marketing and we know Web3. And so I'll pass this over to you, Mr. Jones. I just thank you for the kudos.
Yeah, Casey, brother, it has been an honor and a pleasure to have you on our Hello Pivot today. And you guys, this is the start. Casey Salji was a start. Sherry was the pivotal
connector.
moment, the connector. And like you said, we've showed up for each other. And, I'll never forget, me and Casey spent a whole day at Starbucks. Talking to our team within our wellness business and just talking about mindset and every single last one of them. I think we were crying at the end of each one of these conversations. And we just understand that, we too we're at that point in our lives as well. And it's helping everyone live life optimally. That's where Hello came from. Was we wanted to help everyone, but what we've realized is that we can't help everyone. Everyone has to want to help themselves. And, and this is where we encourage you guys all to really take a leap of faith and start believing in yourself. And that's something that Tara and I do with our community, because that's exactly what Casey did with us. He was there for us when we had those questions, and he was the one that taught us, be on time, do these things, be the person that you can be at the time that you need to be, and be on time, period, point blank. There's no excuses. I share with you guys all the time, excuses or execution. There's one of the two. There is no in between, and he's the epitome of executing and getting it done. And so this is why we continue to stay around the campfire. And as Tara said, yesterday, just because you stay around the campfire doesn't mean you're getting things done. And you said this earlier, Casey, just because you're consistent, at doing things doesn't mean you're moving in the right direction, because sometimes you can be in the wrong community. You can be in the wrong crowd that can take you down the wrong path. And this is where we have to be able to adjust and maneuver and figure out what's most important to us. And it changes over the course of our lives, because that's what we're supposed to do. And so, brother, I couldn't thank you so much. You couldn't thank you more for joining us today and being part of our pivot. This goes down as another, as another legendary, conversation that we had, that our kids and whoever else gets to watch this now and in the future. And so with that being said, you guys definitely make sure you tap in with Casey Salji. We'll definitely put all his information that you guys can go and get. But other than that, Casey, you have anything else in closing as we get out of here, brother?
Just, I love both you guys. Thank y'all so much for having me. This has been absolutely wonderful. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Love, you have anything you want to share?
Nope, the love is mutual. That's cute and adorable.
Well, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, love,
Kindness,
integrity,
most importantly,
commitment,
and consistency.
and until next time, toodles.
Toodles!
See you guys later.